What if the system has been quietly holding back thousands of pounds that already belong to you, and nobody ever told you to ask for it? That question sounds dramatic, but by the end of this video, you are going to realize it is not dramatic at all. It is just the truth that most people in your position never get to hear. And the reason they never hear it is simple. The people explaining these things almost always start in the wrong place, and they leave out the single most important piece of the puzzle entirely. Before we go any further, if this kind of information is something you want more of, hit that subscribe button right now and tap the bell so you never miss a video. And if you know someone who has quietly given up on getting any help because they think they are not poor enough to qualify, share this with them before you even finish watching. That one action could genuinely be worth thousands of pounds to someone you care about. Now, let us talk about what is really going on here. There is a story that a huge number of pensioners in this country have been told, sometimes by well-meaning family members, sometimes by people online, sometimes just by the general noise of it all. And that story goes something like this. If you are not on pension credit, there is nothing for you. If you saved a little over your working life, if you paid off your home, if you have got a modest works pension sitting on top of your state pension, then the system has nothing left to offer. You did things right. And that means you are on your own now. That story is wrong. And it is not just slightly wrong. It is costing ordinary, careful, hard-working pensioners thousands of pounds every single year. Because the most powerful financial help available to people your age does not look at your bank balance. It does not look at your income. It does not care one bit whether you own your home outright or whether you have savings sitting in an ISA. And almost nobody talks about it clearly. So that is what this video is going to do. We are going to go through everything that is sitting there unclaimed, the money, the discounts, the reductions, and we are going to explain each one in plain, honest English, no jargon, no assumptions, just the facts, laid out so clearly that by the time this video ends, you will know exactly what to do next. Let me paint you a picture first. Think about a couple, two people who spent their working lives doing everything society told them to do. They both worked. They paid their national insurance. They paid off the mortgage. They put something away each month because that was the sensible thing to do. Now they are retired and they are living on the full state pension plus a modest workplace pension between them. Comfortable enough. Not wealthy by any stretch, but not struggling either. Every time help for pensioners comes up in conversation, they brush it off because they have done the maths. They know they are a few pounds a week over the threshold for pension credit. And they have been told, directly and repeatedly, that pension credit is the key that opens every door. So they assume all the doors are closed. They stop looking. They get on with life, and they quietly miss out on somewhere between 6,000 and 8,000 pounds a year that is theirs by right. That couple could be you. It could be your parents. It could be the person next door who has quietly concluded that careful people do not get help in this country. And the heartbreaking part is that the one benefit which could genuinely change their situation, the one that was actually designed for people exactly like them, is the one that never gets explained properly. So let us start there. Let us start with the biggest one. It is called attendance allowance. And I want you to stay with me for a moment, even if that name immediately makes you think it is not relevant to you, because that reaction, that instinct to switch off, is precisely the reason an estimated 1 million pensioners across the UK are missing out on it right now. Many of them are not struggling financially at all. Many of them own their homes. Many of them have savings, and none of that matters because attendance allowance is not means tested in any way whatsoever. Let that sink in for a second. It does not look at what you earn. It does not look at what you have saved. It does not care whether your house is paid off or whether you have got a comfortable pension. The only thing it looks at is your health and the kind of help or supervision you need because of it. There are two rates. The lower rate is £76.70 per week. The higher rate is £114.60 per week. At the higher rate, that works out at just under £6,000 a year, paid directly into your account, completely tax-free, sitting on top of everything else you already receive. And here is where people get it wrong. They hear the word attendance, and they imagine someone in a care home, completely dependent on others for every basic task. They think, that is not me. I manage. I get on with things. So it cannot possibly apply to me. But that is not what the benefit is for, and it is not how the qualification works. You do not have to be bedbound. You do not have to have a full-time carer. You do not even need to currently be receiving any formal help at all. The question the system is actually asking is simpler and far more human than the official name suggests. It is asking, do you reasonably need help or supervision because of a health condition? And that can mean so many ordinary, everyday things. Arthritis that makes getting dressed slow and genuinely painful. Balance problems that make the stairs a worry. A heart condition that means someone needs to keep an eye on you. Eyesight or hearing loss that affects how safely you move through daily life. The early stages of memory difficulties. Needing someone nearby at night because there is a real risk of a fall or a moment of confusion. Thousands of people live with exactly these things right now, and most of them would tell you, without a moment's hesitation, that they are fine, that they manage, that they are not the sort of person who needs anything from anyone, and that pride is quietly costing them £6,000 a year, because the form does not ask whether you are coping. It does not ask whether you are brave about it, or whether you carry on without complaining. It asks what you reasonably need, and those are two very different questions. There is no official list of conditions that automatically qualify you or automatically rule you out. What matters is how your day actually looks. Does getting dressed take a long time and cost you real effort? Does someone have to remind you to take your medication? Is there a person in your life who keeps half an eye on you because they are genuinely worried about what might happen if they do not? If the honest answer to any of those is yes, then you may well qualify, regardless of what your bank statement says and regardless of what you have in savings. The form you need is called the AA1. You can request it by calling the Attendance Allowance helpline. The number is in the description below this video so you can find it easily. When that form arrives, the single most important piece of advice I can give you is this: describe your worst days, not your best ones. The form is not asking how you manage when everything is going well. It is asking how things really are when they are difficult. Too many people undersell their situation out of habit, out of pride, out of not wanting to make a fuss, and they get turned down for something they genuinely deserve. Do not let that be you. Right, we need to pause here for a second because I want to make sure you are actually going to act on what you are hearing. A lot of people watch videos like this, feel genuinely informed, and then do absolutely nothing. Do not be that person. Right now, while this is fresh, hit that subscribe button if you have not already, because there is more information like this coming every single week and you do not want to miss it. And if this is already making you think of someone specific who needs to hear it, open your phone and send them this video right now, not later, now. Because later usually means never, and this information is worth real money. Now let us keep going because attendance allowance is only the beginning. The second thing on this list is something that almost every pensioner living alone is entitled to, and the number of people who are simply not claiming it is staggering. It is the council tax single person discount, and it is exactly what it sounds like. If you are the only adult living in your home, you are entitled to 25% off your council tax bill every year, without anyone checking your income or your savings or anything else. On an average Band D property in England, that discount is worth around £600 a year, and the council will not give it to you automatically. They will not write to you. They will not ring you. You have to go to them and ask for it. The people this catches most often are widows and widowers. A couple shares a home for decades, both names on the council tax bill, both counted as adults. Then one of them passes away, and in the middle of all that grief and adjustment, updating the council tax bill is about the last thing on anyone's mind. So the bill keeps arriving at the full amount, year after year, and the surviving partner, often in their 70s or 80s, just keeps paying it, because that is what they have always paid, and nobody has ever told them it should be less. I have heard of people overpaying for 5, even 10 years, for no reason other than the fact that nobody flagged it. If that is you or someone you know, the fix is simple: one call or a few minutes on the council's website. And it is worth asking whether the discount can be backdated, because in many areas it can, which means you may be able to recover some of what has already gone out. The third thing is one of the least talked about and most valuable reductions in the whole council tax system. It applies to households dealing with dementia, and it has nothing to do with income or savings either. If someone you live with has been diagnosed with a condition that causes what the law calls a severe mental impairment, and dementia is by far the most common example, that person can be formally disregarded for council tax purposes. In plain English, they are treated as though they are not living there when the bill is worked out. Which means if a person with dementia lives with one other adult, the household drops to the single person discount immediately. And if a person with dementia lives alone, the council tax can fall to zero, nothing, completely wiped out. On a typical bill that is close to £2,000 a year, that simply disappears. To claim it, you need a doctor to sign a certificate confirming the impairment. There is no charge for that. Then you apply to your council. And here is the part that makes this even more significant. In many areas, it can be backdated to the date of diagnosis, which means families who have been unknowingly paying the full amount for 2 or 3 years may be able to reclaim a substantial lump sum. The reason this goes unclaimed so often is exactly the same reason so many hard things go unaddressed. At the point when a family is absorbing a dementia diagnosis, nobody is thinking about council tax. Nobody is in the headspace to go looking for reductions and exemptions. And so the money quietly continues to leave the account month after month when it should not have to. If you are supporting a parent or a partner with dementia, please check this one. It is not a loophole. It is not charity. It is written directly into the law, and it is sitting there unused because families are dealing with something far heavier and simply do not know to ask. The fourth council tax reduction works differently from the others, and it is one that almost nobody has ever heard of. It is called the disabled band reduction. And what it means is this: if someone in your household is disabled and your home has been adapted to accommodate that disability, your council tax can be charged at one full band lower than your property actually sits in. So a Band D home gets billed at the Band C rate. That saves a few £100s a year, every year for as long as the situation continues. And again, it does not matter what your income is or what you have saved. The adaptations that qualify are more common than people realize. A downstairs room that has been turned into a bedroom because someone can no longer safely use the stairs. A walk-in shower installed because a standard bath became too dangerous. A wider doorway or extra floor space to accommodate a wheelchair or a walking frame. These are not unusual modifications. They happen quietly in ordinary homes all the time, and most of the families who have made them have never once connected them to a lower council tax bill. You have to apply and demonstrate the adaptation, but for the right household, it is money back every single year without exception. And once it is granted, it stays in place automatically. Now let us talk about something much simpler, the things that come with age automatically and cost you nothing to claim, but which a surprising number of people are still paying for out of pure habit. From the age of 60, every prescription you collect in England is free. Every item, every time, no questions asked. All you do is tick the appropriate box on the back of the prescription form to confirm your age. If you are over 60 and you have been handing money over at the pharmacy, you have been paying for something that was already yours for nothing. Go and stop doing that immediately. From 60, you are also entitled to a free NHS site test. It is a small thing compared to some of what we have covered today, but it is yours, and there is no reason to keep paying for it. A senior rail card gives you a third off most rail fares for a modest annual fee that pays for itself in just a couple of journeys. A free bus pass arrives at 60 or at state pension age depending on where you live. For someone who travels regularly, that bus pass alone can save hundreds of pounds a year. None of these things are means tested. None of them look at your income or your savings. They are simply there waiting for you to use them the moment you reach the qualifying age. And yet plenty of people carry on paying full fare for years simply because nobody ever told them they did not have to. Now I want to come back to something I mentioned near the start, because I think it is the most genuinely surprising piece of information in this entire video, and it is the part that changes the whole picture for people who were completely certain that certain doors were permanently closed to them. Here is what almost nobody understands about the way these benefits connect to each other. When you successfully claim attendance allowance, something happens in the background that most people never see coming. The calculation for pension credit changes. Because once you are receiving attendance allowance, you can become eligible for something called the Severe Disability Addition, an extra amount worth over £80 a week that gets added into the pension credit calculation. And that addition can tip the scales. It can take someone who was sitting a few pounds over the pension credit threshold and bring them squarely within it, which means you could be turned away from pension credit today, or have never even applied because you were certain you would be rejected, and then claim attendance allowance based on your health and find that the pension credit door has opened after all. Think about what that means in practice. Because the moment you are receiving even a small amount of pension credit, a completely different set of things becomes available to you. Your council tax can be reduced further. You may get help with NHS costs you are currently paying for. The warm home discount becomes accessible. And once you turn 75, you can receive a free television license. So the very gateway that everyone told you was locked, because you had too much, because you had been careful, because you had saved, can be unlocked by first claiming the benefit that never asked about your money in the first place. That is not a small thing. That is the piece of information that completely reverses everything the system seems designed to make you believe about your situation. The order in which you claim matters. Start with attendance allowance. Claim it on the basis of your genuine health needs and describe those needs honestly. And then, once that is in place, revisit the pension credit question, because the answer might be different now. And a different answer there opens up an entirely new category of help. This is exactly backwards from how most people think about it. They assume pension credit is the starting point, and that if they cannot get it, there is nothing else. But the truth is that there is a side door, and that side door is attendance allowance, the benefit that never asks about your money to begin with. There is one last thing I want to say before we wrap this up, and it is the most important thing of all, honestly, because information without action is just noise. Every week that goes by without a claim is money that leaves your life and does not come back. Some of these benefits can be backdated once you finally apply, but many of them simply start from the date you first ask, which means every month you wait is a month of money gone. The system is not in any rush for you to claim. Every week you do not is a week it holds on to what is yours. The only person in this story with any real reason to move quickly is you, so here is what I want you to do this week. 3 things. That is all. Call the Attendance Allowance helpline and ask them to send you the form. The number is in the description below. When the form arrives, fill it in, honestly. Describe your difficult days, not the days when everything goes smoothly. Call your local council and ask by name about the single-person discount, the severe mental impairment disregard, and the disabled band reduction. Ask whether any of them apply to you. Ask whether they can be backdated. All the contact details you need are in the description. And if any part of this feels overwhelming or complicated, know that there are free services, Age UK and Citizens Advice among them, where real people will sit with you and go through every single one of these claims at no cost to you whatsoever. The price of claiming what is yours is a couple of phone calls. That is it. And for a great many of you watching this right now, those phone calls could be worth several £1,000s every single year for the rest of your life. Before you go, if this video gave you something useful today, here is the last thing I will ask you to do. Go to the comments and tell me, did you know about any of this before today? Because I want to know how many people are sitting on unclaimed money right now without realizing it. And if there is one person you thought of while watching this, someone who always says there is no point trying because they are not poor enough, copy the link to this video and send it to them right now, because you might just be the reason they finally get the money they have always been owed. I will see you in the next one.